All right, Coach Means, you guys had a successful season last year, maybe not quite as far as where you wanted to go, but still accomplished an awful lot. When you look back, I mean, what's one of your major takeaways from last fall?
Well, I was pleased with the way that we overcame some adversity, some injuries and things like that, especially with Chase Purchell, who was an all-state player. First game, got his knee hurt. We had to have some players step up that either hadn't played very much or hadn't played before at varsity level, and they did a really, really good job. And I think the players pulled together as a team, and that's what kind of carried them to that far in the playoffs.
Okay, now I know you do lose a couple of key pieces, but you also have a really nice core group of players that come back that have played a lot of football for you. Start with TJ Urban, your quarterback. I guess what has he meant to your team, and what are you kind of expecting out of him going forward?
Well, anytime you have your starting quarterback back, and he's obviously a quality quarterback like TJ is, that puts you one step ahead of everybody else, And he's going to be a 3-year starter, and that makes a big difference. And so the other players look at him and look at him as a leader, and he's taken on more of those leadership responsibilities as we go. We've got some talented kids coming up. How they do, we'll see how they do. We got a good mixture of experience coming back, so we'll see what happens there. But having TJ back makes a big difference. Your quarterback gives you that kind of stability, and we've got to fill some big holes with Cole Herbelsheimer being gone and some other players. But I think we got some players that will step up and do pretty well.
Where have you seen TJ make the most gains as a player or as a leader here, over the last year or so?
I think just his overall confidence in running the offense and his ability to go through his progressions and find receivers open instead of just taking off and running right away when his first read isn't open. He's doing a better job of that more and more. He did a great job of it during the season. And his running ability makes it tremendously difficult on a defense. As a former defensive player, I know that. You just hate running quarterbacks. And so if he can take off and run and get some yards, that even makes him more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he had pretty balanced production, both through the air and on the ground. Have some coaches said, he could even maybe project at some other positions for us too?
He could be a running back. He could be a defensive back. I see him probably as more of a strong safety type, maybe in college or something like that. If he doesn't go somewhere where they want him at quarterback. So he's got that versatility to be able to do both. He hasn't played much defense because we haven't had a lot of depth at quarterback, but we do now. We got a young man, Gage Stinger, who's pretty good. We think is going to be pretty good. And so with that depth now, he's going to probably play more defense too.
Okay. And then you've got Cole Lammel. Kind of give me a quick rundown on what he's meant to your team and what you're expecting out of him next fall.
Well, believe me, Nebraska probably found out too, but you're kicking, if you've got a good kicker, it makes a big difference. There's so many things you can do, and he's so good. He's gotten stronger. He works with Sandro DeAngelis in the summer, goes to the Cole kicking camps and so forth, and he's on the soccer team, one of the best players on the soccer team. But having that confidence to know that we can get a field goal if we need it, to have that confidence to know he can put a kickoff where we need it, whether it's in the end zone or whether it's onside or whether it's a short kick, it means a lot. It helps in your planning and your strategy, and he's just gotten so much better because he's so driven. And that's what makes him better.
And what have you been hearing as far as his recruitment goes? I mean, have coaches started to contact you and wanting to learn a little bit more about him?
Well, Kicking's a little different. There aren't a lot of scholarships for kickers. They tend to say, it's kind of like show us what you got first. I've not been contacted, but nowadays a lot of times the coaches will directly contact the players because they have his cell phone number. So, but I think as the season progresses next year, he's going to get some interest from someone because he'll be a weapon.
Okay. Now I know you've got a handful of other really important players. Give me a quick rundown on some of those guys and any that specifically kind of translate to the next level, Division I, whether it be FBS, FCS.
Probably Tate Henricks. He's a linebacker for us. He started as a sophomore and junior, and he'll be a 3-year starter for us. Probably play more of an outside linebacker type in college, like in a 3-4 or something like that. But he's a really good athlete. We've just got some really, really good players that probably will be more at the Division II level, NAIA level. But they're really good. They have experience, and the one thing about our team is a lot of these kids have played since they were in youth leagues from 3rd grade on, and they've been successful. They were our first undefeated freshman group. The seniors were in a long, long time, and they outscored their opponents 405-28 for the whole season, and they played all the Class A teams around here. So. That cohesiveness really makes a big difference. They know each other, been around each other, and they win together. And so hopefully that'll translate this fall.
Does that put some expectations on them to kind of get to Lincoln since they've been so successful?
Well, I think I think every team at the beginning of the season should have that, whether it's realistically or not. You should have that as your goal. I mean, you go to Mount Everest. Oh, I just want to go halfway. No, you want to go to the top. You may not make it, but you want to go to the top. I think this has been their goal for a long time since they were in Little League, when they were all playing together and being successful in Little League. And so hopefully that'll translate here. Here in the off season, they're trying to get stronger and faster and so forth. And
okay, all right. Thanks, Coach Means.
You're welcome.